I, 45 female, have been married to my husband, 56, since I was 18. I have a son, 27, and a daughter, 22. We are not rich, but decently well off. We've always planned for our son to study abroad in a Western country for university since he was a child, and this is expensive due to the high international tuition fees. This one is planned for my son. However, ever since I got a laptop and phone with the internet, I've used it to learn new things on my own from sources like MIT courseware and YouTube, and I really wanted my daughter to be an educated woman. I also stopped believing in my religion, while my husband is very devout. I pretend to be religious and follow our customs for the sake of the marriage. I only have high school level education. The plan for my daughter was to find a boy from a nice family for her to marry and not go to university or go to a local one if she wanted to. I convinced my husband that these days, boys from good families want an educated woman for status reasons, even if she doesn't work, and that if our daughter had a Western degree, she could marry into an elite family. It worked, and he paid for her to attend a top university, which she got into, which is better than the one my son went to. My daughter, after leaving, also confided to me that she didn't believe in our religion anymore and started living a different lifestyle, one I could never have. She recently graduated, got a work visa, stayed in the Western country, and has a good job there. My husband got really angry when he heard and felt really cheated and blamed me as I persuaded him to pay for her education and let her go. He even found a picture of her online of a university competition she did where she won a prize and posed a picture without a head covering. So I am feeling guilty since his money let her go to university and now we may not get to see her again. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. There's nothing close to idiot for any mother who wants their daughter to have a better life. Allowing her to make her own life choices is awesome. You knew she no longer followed or believed. So why would forcing her into marriage be good? Mother to mother, I'm so proud of you. You found a way to protect your daughter and give her the life you could never have. You secured her future. And the resources were family resources, meaning it's okay for you and your husband to spend. It's not his money that paid for her education. It is your jointly held money, and you have an equal right to it and how it's spent, according to most Western nations' marriage and property rights laws. Your husband may have had a job where he earned that salary. However, courts around the world have ruled that the job you were doing at home, raising your family, and keeping the house on his behalf, was equally important to the well-being of your family. Think of it this way. If you had not cared for your home and children, he would have had to hire nannies and housekeepers. Their salaries would have been deducted from his salary. Therefore, your salary is the money he saved by having you at home. In addition, both of your jobs resulted in the money in the bank and the children who were fed and healthy. Right, I don't think she misled her husband either. OP, what you did was give your daughter a chance you weren't ever given, a chance to learn, have a job. She does not depend on another now that she's earning her own income. You were brave for giving her that chance. You gave her life twice over. Stop feeling guilty right this second. You did what any amazing mother would and gave your daughter access to the world, something she wouldn't have otherwise. And you've educated yourself too. Be very proud of both of these things. Please continue to learn too. Stay safe, and I hope you can see your daughter again soon. My husband and I have 4 children, toddler to young grammar school age. My husband has an older son, teen, with his ex, and he's also a dad to her older son, 20. We live in a 3-bedroom house. When my stepson stays, he sleeps on the couch. Despite him not really living with us, my husband is still active in his life and spends a lot of time with him. My stepson's mom has 3 younger kids with her ex-husband and recently got a new boyfriend. She lives in a 2-bedroom apartment with stepson getting a room, the younger 3 sharing, and her using the living room as a bedroom. Her taste in men is awful, and her newest boyfriend is no different, and my stepson has awful things to say about him. Despite this, and the fact that she's only been dating him for around 10 months, she's known him longer. She's moving in with him in a week. He's somewhat well off and lives in an empty 4-bedroom house as his kids are all adults. There's a clear benefit for the kids to have a bigger space and a yard, but obviously, a much bigger danger in moving your kids in with a man you haven't been dating for long. My husband has tried to urge her out of making this choice, but she seems set on it. She has some major mental health issues and doesn't receive any child support from her ex-husband, so I understand to an extent why she needs to rely on a new boyfriend so heavily. A month ago, my stepson argued with his mom and stayed with us for a few nights before going to his great-grandpa's, where he stayed since. He has said that he will never move into her boyfriend's house. Last week, he asked his dad if he could move in with us, and we told him we'd discuss it. I don't like the idea for a few reasons. The main one is space, as we don't have a lot of it. He would have to share with one of his much younger brothers, or we'd have to give him his own room and cram 4 kids in together. Another reason is that my stepson isn't exactly the easiest teenager and has already proved to be a bad influence on my younger kids, and he has a bad temper. I told my husband this, and although he was unhappy and tried to change my mind, he did go back to his son and told him that it couldn't happen right now. My answer would be different if there weren't other options for him. His grandpa has the spare room and has already said he can stay for as long as he wants. My husband and I are looking at other rental options with 4 bedrooms for us to move to in the near future. We had a dinner with stepson a few nights ago and explained his reasoning and told him he was still welcome whenever he wanted. He didn't seem too upset and is comfortable at his grandpa's. However, his older brothers found out about the situation. He's in the military in another state, called my husband up to call him an idiot, and evidently blamed the whole situation on me. Are we being idiots? Isn't it better he be in a home where he has the space and is still close to both parents? Everyone's the idiot here. You, his dad, his mom, the boyfriend, everybody. Everybody created new families and expected the teenager to fend for himself. He's in a bad situation with his equally crappy mom. As a father, your husband needs to get brave and step in as a parent to ensure he doesn't fall through the cracks. The tone of your story reads that you don't care about anyone other than the kids you created. If the young man has issues, who could blame him? The adults in his life are failing him. Absolutely. It's heartbreaking that both his parents and stepmother have completely failed him. The supposed search for a 4-bedroom house will never happen, and I doubt OP's seriously trying to fix the issue here, especially since if they were trying to find a new place, why mention all the other reasons she doesn't want the stepson living with them? I call BS. Wow. Honestly, given everything you just wrote, why is your stepson not already living with you? He and his half-siblings are crammed into a smaller space with a mother with serious mental health issues, terrible taste in men, and financial woes. And you guys let him sleep on your couch sometimes? Honestly, what the heck, lady? Of course he's not the easiest teenager. Look at what he's living through, with no support from his dad or you apparently. And now you turn him away, knowing full well what a crap situation he might be walking into. As far as your dig at his mom's choice in men, I guess that's accurate, because your husband appears to be an absolute crap dad, and I can't say much for his choice in women either. So my wife and our 2 teenagers went to tour a little animal sanctuary/rescue this past weekend while I was at work, and apparently had a good time. Maybe too good of a time. Among the many animals they had, there were 3 foxes, apparently, each one a former pet surrendered by its owner, 3 different owners. And I guess the volunteers or workers there were talking about how they obviously can't be released, aren't accustomed to having to live purely outside with limited human interaction, but it's the best they can do until they find someone to adopt them, but that it's hard to, because people seem to be surrendering their pet foxes faster than the new potential owners are willing to accept them these days. My daughter proposed that we adopt at least one of them, since she felt bad for them and that they have nowhere else to go. Of course, I admired the thought, but to my surprise, my wife seemed pretty open to the idea and said, I wondered the same thing. It would be great for someone to be able to give them a home. Why not us? I tried to shut it down and say that it was a crazy idea, but they kept bringing it up. Apparently, my daughter's done the research, and it wouldn't be illegal in our state or township. She's looking into what sort of enclosure we'd have to build in our yard, diet, and my wife seems to be encouraging all this, saying, look, it wouldn't be that hard. We have a big enough yard. It'd liven up the place, etc. I tried doing my own research, and the very first thing everyone mentions is that they stink. But they sort of rolled their eyes and said, oh, it wasn't that bad. None of us were bothered by it during the tour. Dogs stink too. They'll mostly be outside anyways. But I wasn't convinced. So I asked, why do you think all these people abandoned them? There has to be a reason. I tried to put my foot down and shut the whole thing down, but then they got a bit upset and said I should at least be open-minded to see if it would make sense. And how could I be so heartless to the poor foxes, etc. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your wife and daughter need to ask why people surrender pet foxes faster than the rescue can find people to adopt them. From working with animal rescues, 100% of the time it's the stench. There are 8 surrendered foxes, and every time it's, we can't take the smell anymore. Oh, it wasn't that bad. None of us were that bothered by it during the tour. Dogs stink too. That's like saying you could handle pepper spray just because you had a jalapeno once. OP, you're not going to domesticate a fox like a cat or a dog. They can't be indoor pets since they mark their territory frequently and tear up their surroundings. Stand your ground. She said we'd have to build an enclosure in our yard. And that's just the start of it, my dude. Kids get bored with regular pets and abdicate themselves from care responsibilities all the time. Just think how quickly things will go south with a finicky problem like a pet fox. Pet foxes aren't a thing. They're wild, and there's a reason they get abandoned. Also, foxes are social, so adopting one would be neglectful because of its social needs. Also, these animals were surrendered to professionals for a reason. They're wild animals, not domesticated or feral. Maybe try to compromise and see if they can do some hands-on volunteer work at the sanctuary with them for hands-on experience beforehand. I, 28 female, was 15 weeks when I lost my fiancé. I was heartbroken for a lot of reasons, but something that particularly haunted me was feeling like our child would never have anything from their father. He wasn't very materialistic, so I didn't have any sentimental items to pass on. The only thing I have is my dress. It's not traditional, but he picked the wedding dress. We saw it when we were at this second-hand shop looking for cheap furniture. He said that when he imagined our wedding, he imagined me in a dress like that one. My mother-in-law had it preserved for me after his funeral, and I decided that when my child got old enough, it would be theirs. The baby's a boy. He's a preschooler now, so I don't think he'll be wearing the dress, but if he does, that's fine, LOL. If he gets engaged to someone and that person wants to wear it, I'd be all right with that too. My sister Faith, 25, is getting married in the fall. She called me a few days ago and asked if she could wear my dress for her wedding. I explained why I wasn't comfortable letting her use it, as I plan to pass it down to my son since his father chose it. She said she doubted my son would ever actually wear the thing, and that I was just doing my fiancé an injustice by letting the dress he picked sit in a box collecting dust. I told her again that I wouldn't let her borrow it and hung up. Our mom called me and said that my sister was hurt because she had her heart set on that dress and she wanted to share this special moment with me. So I said that I'd be willing to go dress shopping with her and we could have a special moment then. But my mother told me that I was being selfish and that I should be happy that someone would actually get to walk down the aisle in my dress. Still though, I told her I wasn't changing my mind. Most of my family is saying it's unfortunate I never got to wear it, but that I should be happy that my sister wants to. I'm not really second-guessing my decision, but I'm feeling a little guilty about it. Edit. When we were going through the wedding preparations, my sister was there when I tried on the dress after it was altered. She's into vintage fashion, and she said she really loved the style of the dress and pointed out that it was probably worth more than my fiancé had paid for it. It's possible that the driving factor behind her having her heart set on it is that it fits into her interest, but I don't know. Not the idiot. I think what you're saving that dress for is beautiful in itself. I'm sure your child will think so too, when he's older. There are a million wedding dresses to choose from. She doesn't need that one, and she should never have asked to wear it. I don't understand why she even thought that was appropriate. Of course you don't want someone wearing something with such emotion attached to it. Also, your mom's comment was awful. She also gets idiot points. I feel like you underreacted to your mother saying, "You should be happy that someone will get to walk down the aisle in your dress." What the heck? Those words right there would sever the relationship I had with my mother. Your family's proving to be a manipulative pack of vultures. Yeah, your sister 4 years ago saw your loss as your gain, and she could ask about the dress. But the fact that she refused to respect your answer and implored your mom to take it further shows that she doesn't give two bits about you, your fiance, your son, or your loss. You need to hide that at your mother-in-law's house somewhere. Your sister and mother would steal it. I'm so sorry for your loss, and for who you're stuck with as an immediate family. I'm a party princess, which means I dress up fictional princesses and women and have a catalog people can pick from when they book me on what character they want. It's a job I love, and I make really good money. And during the global issue, I also began to do Zoom calls, which were more one-on-one and lasted 40 minutes. I've been doing this for 2 years, and it's a job I intend to continue for as long as I can, as it's very fulfilling to me. My boyfriend of 7 months, however, is rather embarrassed by this job and doesn't want me to be open to his family and friends about the job, as he feels it'll make me look childish or like I lack prospects, which is quite irritating as I make more money than him with this job. Still, I'd never throw that up in an argument with him. Instead, I asked him why it mattered if they thought it was childish, and he asked me to just do this for him, to just say that I work somewhere more normal. I don't like lying, and it's upsetting to me that he wants me to do this. But he told me it's not like I can do this job forever, which I do know, but while I do it, I don't see why I should be ashamed. Should I keep the peace and tell a little fib? Not the idiot. There's nothing embarrassing about being a party entertainer. Also, what is he expecting? He wants you to make up a job and details about it, and then for the rest of your relationship, try to remember the lies you've told about this job to keep up the charade? That's nuts, and a lot of mental work, on top of being dishonest and a recipe for disaster. What if they find out somehow from someone else? Like someone they know books you, and they see photos or something. Then you'd look like a maniac who invented a fake job. Don't forget she has to pretend to them that she doesn't make more money than he does, or he would be offended and embarrassed. OP, let's be clear. You're an actress. That's fundamentally what you're doing, just in particular venues and circumstances. Honestly, the job sounds fun. I'd like to be a princess professionally. My boyfriend of 7 months, however, is rather embarrassed by this job. I've seen enough. No, don't ever lie about what brings you joy in life, and never date a person who's against that. You should find someone who can accept you for who you are. This relationship won't last long.